Up, teacher.
I define your job, number one, is you are the playmaker link to the goal. You make the plays that the whole time that the ball, even in attack and defense, you are in a position where a pass to you would set up a run for goal. So you're always a link to goal. And you always should be adjusting your position to do that. So let's start with your position. As a link player, your position, again, is different to when you're in attack and defense. So when you're in attack, to be a link, you've got to be somewhere between your team and the goal. At the same time, you're a very bad link if you're blocking the goal. And you'll be amazed the amount of number ones who nobody has coached and who actually will find the ball hitting them painfully in the back, or the horse is hit, and they actually prevent a goal. I believe on the principle that it's better to have the ball come up on your right-hand side than your left. First of all, the priority is on this side to hit the ball rather than the left. Secondly, it is an easier shot on your right than the left. That is, most of the time, not all, you're setting on the left goalpost rather than the right, leaving the goal open if you can. Obviously there are exceptions, and the biggest exception is when you're right over on the far side of the field, when you have to use the right goalpost. So there you are, you're looking at a goalpost. So literally you need to look forward, look back, look forward, look back. Absolutely continue. There's the goalpost, there's the play, there's the game. And as the people behind you, as they go across here, you are always staying. As they come to your left, you've got to keep out of the goal. You've got to keep out of the goal, but you're still the link to the goal. So that is a lot of adjustment to do in the 75% of the game when you do not have the ball. And it is setting you up to when you're suddenly in the 25%, you're absolutely in the right place. To either get to goal or link it to goal. If in your mind is all the time, I'm linking this to goal, you will start to become a good goal scorer. But if in your mind is, I'm a score goals, you probably score very, very little. So that's how you position in attack. Now the game turns to defense. So it's probably easier just to, rather than switch all the players, let's look to the other team here. This number one is in defense. Now he's still a link, because a good backhand could put him in attack. For me, it's one of the dilemma of a one is whether to be with the opposing four or to be in front of him. And basically, you should be switching between the two. If you just stay with him, you are not a link. If a pass comes, you can't take it, you can't get it. Anyway, you're probably too far away. So if you're up to get it, but as saying you're still looking in front, behind, because you're watching to see if a pass is coming to you. But at the same time, a number four could suddenly get up and pass you, and you've got to see him do it and prevent him. So just as the one in attack is looking both sides, so the goal, the one in defence is looking both sides to see is the backhand coming, and has he got the four under control? And he's saying, I won't let you buy me, I won't let you buy me. And of course, if he ever comes, then you just have to stay with him. So, that's positioning. Now your responsibility, I've already said, is to link. And the other one, I think, is when you get a shot. Often, you just get in the right off, or that's all you will do is you put the speed on, you go fast, but the four stops you hitting. But when you actually have anticipated well enough to get a shot, in your mind should be, I am not going to hit this ball out of the field. It's better to keep the ball in the ground than to miss a goal. And there are three different positions that I call it, keep the ball in play. One is when you are relatively in front of the goal. And then we go back to that you aim halfway to the goal, as we've explained separately. Because it's maddening for your team and you, if you take a long shot at goal, not halfway, and miss, then the whole attack is gone. The other one is when you are out to one side, either the left or the right. There are two dangers here. One is that if you take an awkward angle shot at goal, remember you've got a very narrow goal to shoot at because you're out, so your chance of scoring is really small. Secondly, you have a great chance by taking an angle shot that you will foul, because your opponent will twist as you take the shot, and you could foul somebody behind you. So, much better way to keep the ball in play and still be a link is to turn the backhand. On the left, an open backhand. On the right, the tail backhand. And that is still being a link, isn't it? You are actually keeping the ball in play. And thirdly, when somebody behind you, you could say an idiot or in your team, not thinking hits a great ballooning shot, you've then got the task, not easy to do, but to stop the ball crossing the back line and missing the goal. And that is another part of your linking. You might be able to get it, you wanted to hit your horse here, or just just stop it crossing that back line. Because remember, once it's crossed, you lost possession. And from the knock-in, the other team have the possession. And now the speed, as I've already said, is one of the hardest things for you to do. You're very apt to be wrong. If you're going too fast, nobody reaches you. If you're going too slow, they're running into you. It is really, really difficult. But why not take it as a challenge? Something, even as you practice changing speed a lot. So you have that control of the horse and everything. And so you're going up the field saying, there's the goalpost, there's my team behind you, there's the player. And you're looking from one to the other, and you're changing up and down all the time to stay a link and yet not slow down your team. So speed, you can see, is a very, very important element. And then turn to defence. This is absolutely vital. If we twist back to here, but in 1 minute you're charging an attack, expecting a pass, suddenly the guy behind you misses, something like that, and you're in defence. Like everything else, when I talked about the tete, look, adjust, team engage, turn, the thing of turning before the ball does. Ideally, as a one, you would have turned in defence before the game has gone in defence. But ideally, and that's what you're looking, but many times, because you're having a hell of a fight for the ball with the opposing four or something like that, you suddenly will be caught that you've turned after it. Then, as we talked about before, you must cut down the middle of the field to get back into the position where you can take on the fall and get yourself back, and only think about getting where you go to the fall initially. And then you suddenly look, could there be a pass coming my way as well? But priority on doing the defence right. And so turning to defence is a great art, and it's got to divide it between the two. The one time when you've anticipated nice and early, and you can be really relaxed, and your opposing number four is immediately under your control, and you're still a link for a backhand to come back to you. The other one where you've been in a great gallop, and you've got to really adjust your position back by coming down the middle. So if you put those four together, you see what a big job and contribution you have. You're to be the link to that goal. By your position, always adjusting, both in defence and attack. By your responsibility, when you do get the ball, to keep it in play and not just hit it irresponsibly out or miss it and lose possession from your team. By the speed, not so fast that nobody can reach you, not so slow that you stop the team. And lastly, ready to turn to defence. But lastly, I would say to you, great way to play make, besides all those points, is to address your team. Make it very clear to your team when you go on that you are a link and that you are hoping, expecting passes from. Even just by saying that to somebody, other people may just think you're happy to be out there and just enjoying to have a ride at the front. I invite you, when you play, establish you are the team, you are the link, and that you can get. And obviously, if you have done training, and if you would have used the skill test that we'll be sharing in Poloskilz, you will have trained yourself much better to prove to the players that you can be an effective link. So I hope you enjoyed it and have fun.